Good afternoon, everyone. Awesome to see you all here today. So thank you for attending. As you know, we've had a bit of a focus as an industry this year to bring you more relevant content on our Microsoft Dynamics platform. And I'm sure everyone's aware a lot of it is heavily focused around the ERP. So one key area I've been excited to tap into with you all is digital engagement. And so that's what we're here to do today. Next slide, please. So when we were looking at our partner network and who is best in the business, Barhead are an easy choice for me to work with on this series. Their resources, industry knowledge in sales and marketing is really inspiring, and I'm really pleased to have Hannah and Tanya on the call with me today to help bring you this series. And a massive shout out to Richard and Kirsty and our Barhead marketing team for helping support this. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise there was the acknowledgement country there. So we'd like to acknowledge and pay respects to our traditional custodians of the land, sea, culture and community in which we meet. We pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Awesome. So what are we doing? What are these sessions about? So what we've put together in this series is a base of use cases around what Microsoft refers to as their customer experience platform. So what you can see on the right-hand side of the slide is the Dynamics products used to achieve a seamless customer experience. Now, in this series, we're going to cover a majority of these. The only thing we won't touch on is commerce. Now, if there's a genuine interest in commerce, please feel free to circle back. It's certainly something we can cover in a different forum. When we look at some of the points that we want to cover, especially on this slide, if we look at some of the themes here in our data estate management, a unified customer is everyone's end goal. And what we're seeing in the market at the moment now is multiple touch points with your customers and suppliers. And it's almost impossible for one person within your business to know the journey that that customer or supplier has been on with you today. And then obviously on the other side of the fence to that, you've got your customers. And when they pick up either an email, phone, text, they want you to know everything about them. And that's the experience they're expecting. I think particularly in manufacturing, when we have long sales cycles or we're trying to scale a set of sales cycles, the personalization aspect is really easily lost, but is actually the key for us all being competitive. So what we'll talk to you about in this series will be around unifying data, having a 360-degree view of your suppliers and your customers, and how we actually use that data to give you more personalization at scale and automation in those experiences. Next question. Next slide. Next question. Okay. So on this slide, I don't know if people have seen this before or not. So you'll see what we call the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing, and that is the 4 pillars of success Microsoft are investing into achieving our goals in the industry in business applications. Now, one of the key facts that you'll see on the right-hand side that sticks out to me straight away is that by 2025, 80% of our B2B sales interactions between suppliers and buyers will likely occur in digital channels. That's next year. That is pretty scary, but it's certainly achievable with the tools that we have in front of us. Because another issue that we see in the industry is lack of resources, particularly in our digital engagement channels. As an industry, we're very good at getting to people into factories, out onto the work sites. We're very good at having people in warehouses, looking after our inventory. And it's very, easy for us as an industry to hone in on our physical end products and outputs rather than the digital channels that we actually really need to achieve getting the sales through in the first place. So we'll certainly walk you through a holistic view of these tools that help achieve getting you through to purchase. Another key point on this slide is talking around AI assisted experiences, which, and if you haven't heard about AI, where are you living? But it's going to be a game changer, especially for those under-resourced teams. We're seeing in the industry people with admin roles or titles of admin roles playing 3 to 4 different hats. We've got account managers that don't have any marketing tools, and it's handicapping the industry. So what we'll show you in the series as well is the ease of use for all the product sets have. So no matter what the role, who that person is, people can gain value and be self-empowered pretty quickly. And then, next slide, please. So I put this slide up. I am not a marketer. I'm going to put my hands up, but I do understand this slide, and I think it gives a really nice segue into why you've been invited here today. Some of you I've pushed to be here because I think it's really important we take a chance to understand the use cases that we've put together holistically. I know we've got customers on the call that just have sales. I know some of you on the call have just started your marketing and insights journey. I know some of you don't have anything. So in this session and the series, please don't think of the products individually and like, oh, this is about marketing, we're not interested in that. We really are trying to take that step back and look at a unified sales and marketing experience. Because unfortunately, and what this funnel shows really well is the old world of, when you would go have a marketing campaign to start your brand awareness that would take you right through to purchase doesn't really exist anymore, and customers are actually choosing in the sales cycle when they wish to engage with us. And that might be that they just have a preference to your brand. It might just be because they liked one of your products, or they've purchased with you in the past. So what we need to do now is make sure that all the different roles around that cycle, because along that, as you know, like if we start with awareness, we start with the marketing team. If we get down to the purchase, that's your account management team. So we need to make sure all these roles all the way through are empowered and have the tools to do that. So without that, I'm going to pass over to Tanya and Hannah, who will take us through some of the use cases and the company that they've put together for today's series. There will be chance for questions throughout.
Thank you, Stacey. Yes, there will. We'll pause in between to take some questions. We've got Rich moderating our chat, so please, if something pops into your mind, drop it in the chat and Rich will grab some of those out and we can talk to those when we break in two different sections of this presentation. So thank you, Stacey, for the intro. Microsoft's doing some great things and we here at Barhead are really excited to be part of that journey. And thank you for inviting us to be part of this webinar today. Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here. I'm Tanya, and together with Hannah, my colleague, we're going to take you on a journey that starts with a manufacturing company, which we have named Outback Provisions. They employ over 400 employees. They support local farming communities, and they're committed to sourcing sustainable products that include dried and preserved foods, organic grains, gourmet condiments and frozen goods. Their high quality products are sourced from remote agriculturally rich regions from across Australia, which gives them a unique advantage. Their delicious food their market spans, buyers such as schools and hospitals, as well as retail chains, and they're expanding into international markets. They've got quite a large team. These are some of the key players that work for them, and we're going to be focusing on them in today's webinar. So the first one is Sarah. She takes care of our marketing and communications. She's got a big job that's anything from emails and design, branding and advertising. She's always busy supporting sales and helping the business grow. Ella is also very busy. She's our supply chain manager, and she's responsible to ensure efficient operations, manage supplier relationships, inventory, so on and so forth. We often wonder if she's sleeping at the office because she's always the first in and the last to go home. And then we've got Joe. He is our sales manager, and he maintains our relationships and identifies new business opportunities, negotiates contracts, and ensures that our customers are satisfied with our products and services. His role really drives revenue and expands market research, and he works closely with Sarah to make things happen. Bob looks after our insights that Joe derives from his first-class data. He's our captain when it comes to making decisions about our products, marketing, and business planning. Bob, along with the rest of the team at Outback Provisions, enhance the competitiveness and drives the overall growth. So that's just our key players. So now that we've sort of introduced them and what they do, I'm sure there's some people on the line who are familiar with some of those roles. We're now going to take a look at some of the pain points that these people are suffering. So Sarah is tired of her time-consuming manual work tasks. She's often in spreadsheets, going back and forth, sourcing the right contacts. noticing that something's been missed, and then she's got to start all over again. It's a very inefficient process for her to get an email sent out to a customer or supplier or whomever she's been asked to communicate with. While Ella, on the other hand, she finds that simple tasks are taking her hours. It's quite frustrating and common problems are remaining unsolved. She can lose an entire day when she receives a product recall notification, and she really wants to find a better way. Joe finds himself chasing his tail. He really wants everything just to be in one place. He wants to know where his accounts are at, which ones are warm so he knows who to spend his time with. He wants to know where his activities are and basically just improve overall efficiency in his day. Bob we refer to as having the patience of a saint. He is amazing at providing so much detailed and impressive information from siloed data. He's often found in spreadsheets, uploading from one system, exporting to another, collating all of that, and then just like magic, he provides us with the insights we need to make those business decisions. So now that we've met our team and our organisation, we're going to just take you through 2 user stories. So the first one Hannah is going to walk through is going to be focused around how that team would work if they had a dynamic stack, and whether that's sales and support CRM, marketing. We're going to have a look at those different roles and how their day would change in these 2 user stories. So the first one here is going to start off on a Monday morning. Ella gets to work and she's faced with an email that's around a product recall from one of the suppliers. There's been a contamination between a period of 4 weeks. She's been asked to do a recall and make sure that these are removed from shelves and the produce is disposed of. Further communication to follow. So this is the trigger for Monday morning. Hannah's now going to take us through how that day unfolds.
Great, Tanya. So hi everyone, welcome to the session. I'm going to apply those personas we've just discussed, understand those pain points and how that translates into the functionality that sits within the dynamic stack. And we're focusing on, I guess, bringing that sales and marketing experience, connecting it to kind of deliver those different personas. They can execute what they do in their day-to-day to make that seamless, efficient, and just save time, and the customer also gets what they need too. So the example, that product recall we're going to start with. So it's Ella, the supply chain manager, who first receives that email, urgent action based on that product. So Ella first calls the supplier just to confirm those details and then notifies her internal team, because now action needs to be taken around who we need, who are the impacted customers that we need to reach out to, and understand where they are also with their suppliers as well, with those further retailers. So customers who received, so we need to identify again who received the particular goods on particular dates. So now we're starting to build out who we're going to understand who we need to reach to. So with this requires confirmation or that the information has been received by these customers. So this is that first action piece. She's now informed internal stakeholders of what that next action needs to happen. So now Sarah from the marketing team, she's been briefed into this product recall. What does this mean? For Sarah, one, she needs to identify who those impacted customers are. Secondly, create that email to send out, informing them of that product and what they need to do, the action piece, but also monitor and report on who has engaged with that email to make sure those people have received and read the information regarding that contaminated product. Following that next point of who, if someone doesn't engage, then sales need to reach out to ensure they've kind of been informed of that product recall to take that necessary action. So this, I'm going to show you what this means, I guess, in customer insights journeys. So that first piece of identifying the customer, here on this screenshot, this video we're going to play here, we've got a segment builder. So identifying the customers, we can use different types of data. So regarding that product that was purchased, that contaminated product, but also have additional logic around that date period, because it's only between this date period that we kind of need to target these people and make sure they receive the communications. So with that, you can also apply additional logic in here, not just around those different attributes as we've done, behavioral data too, around any of those interactions and any other additional segments that might already exist in your system. In here, we can also see members who fit that criteria within the segment logic and just cross-check, making sure we've got the right people in there. We now also, here's the journey builder. So we've identified that segment. We're going to send them an email. And as I said, listen to make sure that they have interacted with that email. If they haven't, what's that next follow-on action? So we'll make sure sales get that activity. So within here, you're now seeing that interaction data. So who it was delivered to, opened, and then based on that, we can have that follow-on activities. So for what should happen next, which is that sales activity. So now we're going to jump in. What does this mean from a sales perspective? So we have that journey, that engaged, sending out, identifying the person, sending out that relevant communications. Do they engage? Yes, no. If they don't, well, then sales now need to play their part here and interact with those customers. So what you're seeing here from Joe's perspective, so Joe works, has Dynamics. He opens up his CRM and he can see, he manages his activities in here. So when he's going in, he needs to see that next and prioritized action for what needs to happen next. So in this view, what we're seeing is those automated activities based on that interaction from that previous communication. So this is a high priority. We've got a recall, it's a compliance, it's a very serious thing that we need to kind of take action on. So now Joe can see those activities assigned to him to make the phone call for those customers who haven't seen the email yet. So within here, he can then manage his prioritized workload for the day from one place to. So this is kind of showing you from that journey piece, we can have automated activities generated for the sales team to then run with and do their part in here as well. So Ella, as we said at the start, she needs to know and make sure that those impacted customers have been informed. And so with Customer Insights journeys, so that email's gone out, you have the delivery and insights to kind of give you that visibility over who's received it, who's engaged with it. And obviously within that journey builder, that's how you can base what that next action is. But this gives Ella, from her perspective, the visibility over who's seen it and also who hasn't as well. From, I guess, Bob's perspective on this, from business and insights, he can see that journey performance and kind of see the effectiveness and how that channel performance is doing across other metrics as well. So from here, he can derive that business, the insights and analytics to how that can be leveraged going forward for what is that next data-driven decision here. So it might be that email might not be effective for sending out these types of communications due to low engagement. And from those insights, he can make those business informed decisions and feed that back to the wider business after that journey or that use case has kind of been completed for a product recall.
Thanks, Hannah. We're just going to pause for a minute and see if anyone's got any questions on that first user story. I don't know if there's anything in the chat. If there's not, you're welcome to come off mute and chime in. We'll just wait a minute for anyone who has a comment.
It doesn't look like there's any questions at the moment. Doesn't look like there's any questions at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Rich. We'll move on. Okay, so with Monday's problems behind us, we're moving on to Tuesday. And today is the day that the team has been working towards a new product launch. They're very excited to announce the release of a new range of spices that have been sourced from their agricultural region in outback Queensland. They've already placed a pre-order of 10 units and it's available for distribution from the 7th of July. So they need to inform their customers, let them know about this new product, and they're going to take a few different actions to do that. But within that campaign, they're going to personalise the communications based on the predefined criteria of who is the most suitable. They're going to put a special introductory offer in there with some bulk pricing, and they're going to put a call to action in there to see how engaged they can get their audience. So they're going to offer an in-store product tasting. So the team is now going to walk through their Tuesday. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. And I guess just to add, for Monday's been completed, but they could quickly and easily, I guess, build out and identify those people and get the communication sent out to be more efficient with that. This is allowing now more time to focus then on that product launch. So this campaign has been planned, but that product recall would have been prioritized over the execution of this campaign they're looking to get out. So from Sarah's point of view with getting this product launch, she needs to, again, identify who that target audience is, who's a good suit, those user personas and those customers based on the different profile attributes, behavioral data. And we've now got a next level of detail with the lookalike segments, and we'll look at that in a second. So these are the people she presumed or wants to target, but hang on, maybe she's looking at that wider group. So these lookalike segments who are similar, not the same, but that wider reach of who those target customers might be. Once that's decided, it's then the creation and design of that email and using built-in AI features. That's there because obviously, even with how Stacey was talking to it earlier around the different roles, the silos are breaking down from the traditional roles of a graphic designer, a content writer. These tools are there for anyone to use, and that's where AI is kind of helping you with that too, just to enable you. So with that too, adding that personalization, you've now got in Customer Insights journeys, you've got your full platform in one place. So you can leverage that different personalized information to make that content more relatable, engaging, and also just, I guess, wanting to send the right message at the right time to the right person, as we kind of do in marketing. So we have that too, plus also that follow on with sales. So if these people are engaged and they're marketing qualified, are they now sales qualified? And handing that through from that sales and marketing being connected again. So that first point you can see up there, that's around those lookalike segments. So like I was saying, this is where Customer Insights data has more advanced around bringing in different data sources. It might be website data, transactional data, other data sources that might sit siloed. You can now connect them in one place and bring that together to build out those segments, which might not, I guess, traditionally be those that you want to target, but now you have the technology to kind of open that up. And so with that is the suggestion, so that lookalike segments, so that wider reach of who they are. With the journey building too, so this video we're just going to show here. So it's on the preview. Can you just jump back to the other slide? So there on the bottom video, this is just going to go through the journey builder. So there's different ways somebody can kind of start or join a journey. So we have segment based or we have trigger based. So event datas that happen. So we can listen for that to take place to then for somebody to fall into this journey. So in this example here, we've got that segment identified. So we're just going to build it out. So we've got that lookup to that segment we've built out and decided. We're going to set a start date for when this campaign is going to run from. Within here, we can add entry criteria. So we can also have suppression segments for customers we don't want in here. We can apply different frequencies. So how often they should or could join a journey. So with this one, we're going to send out that initial email send. So within the journey from here, we can then do a lookup and call in and add that email that we've built out. We've got a preview in there too to make sure that's the right email and we're happy with that. But off the back of that email being sent, we want to listen for something to happen to that behavioral insight. So we have the option now when that email has been sent out to listen to that behavioral data. So if they've engaged with a particular link, in that email, we can then branch what that experience might be. So based on that engagement level, we can do that next best action based on listening to what their customers are doing and then reacting to it in the right time and easily too. We can build this out in that journey pretty seamlessly. So if somebody then clicks on that email, let's do a follow-on task with sales. This is where we can bring sales back in and create those automated activities here. So we can define who in the sales team that might go to. It might be a specific person or it might be a team. And that can be based on those rules around that account management too. So we can set when that task will need to be completed by. And in here, it kind of, like I said, bringing that sales and marketing into one place. With the journey, we can set a goal too. So this is another place we can measure the performance. So from here, we're trying to drive a purchase or an opportunity, that new business within our existing customer base. So we can set that in here so that when this campaign's running, we can do that measure and monitoring of that performance in there. So once that's decided, you can kind of go live with that journey. And so now we're going to look from the sales perspective with that. So on that journey, that last tile I was kind of talking to was around creating that activity. So Joe, again, wants to open up his dynamics and see those activities that are relevant and qualified for him. And then he can do his sales piece of that qualification, one-to-one personalized communications too, all in one place. So in this example, we're just going to show how that happens. So when somebody gets to that point, that activity gets automated. So we can see that number generated. Then in Joe's tasks for the day, we can see those all outlined in there and who that relevant customer is. So in here, he can work through that task list, but he might also choose to manage his activities through Outlook. And that's okay, because if that's where he chooses to kind of work his day to day, that's also visible and he can still manage and go through those different activities for the day there too. And then from Bob's perspective on here, so that new product, he wants to see, I guess, that ROI, that dollar value that's been generated from that campaign. So having, I guess, the technology to allow AI multi-touch attribution based on the different interactions, both, I guess, outbound and inbound, that are playing a place in what that ROI conversion is and that tracking. So it's to, again, ultimately measure the performance and how well that campaign did, and again, take those insights to take that forward for that next campaign with that. So that's how all those different pieces, I guess, come together with that use case. And so from Ella's point of view within here, with the different product launches, so that's been successful, Ella might now want to reach out to her customers and be like, we've got all of these customers interested in purchasing this new product launch. Great, so what does this mean? Our suppliers need to also be involved for us to kind of get those different produce in order to fulfill that through that full process. So within customer insights journeys, I guess the easy, like I said, breaking down the silos for having all those skills and experience is more user-friendly and intuitive. So Ella can now build out these emails, make them, style them within brand style guidelines in there, using templates, and send it out to her customers easily and efficiently again. So this example is kind of going to show how that email builder, the drag and drop, can be used using some of like the pre-built content blocks and also some of the AI capability. This will show. So this email example we've got in here, this is the email builder. This is a template that you might start with. That's great starting point, but now I actually want to bring through and change some of those different components. So I can apply that different information. I've got the content body of the email, but actually we've now got AI built in. So help me bring those content ideas. I've got some bullet points that I want to use around what the messaging is for this email. Remember, she's not a content writer. So having these tools to hand to draft an email that she can still change to, but give her a good baseline for how to use that in the email and make it relevant, applying those different tones to the content as well. So once that content's kind of been defined in there too. There is other functionality as well. So with that email, building it out, if you want to add an image, we've got AI suggestions based on that content that's been provided. So this makes it, again, more efficient with building out these communications, and you don't have to be a coder or know HTML to kind of get there with that. So now we can kind of build out that email, what that CTA might be, that click to action in here. And it might be for somebody to engage or go to a web form on the website to find out more about the product information, or even reach out to us around their questions and manage what that next step might be. So we can really, I guess, fill in all the different areas and kind of close loop it within the application to make sure we're getting all that information that's being sent out, and also listening for when it happens coming back into the system. So this might be a commercial email. Earlier we looked at it was transactional email. So there's different types as well around the compliance piece that you can manage those communications that are being sent out to ensure you don't want the wrong people receiving it, your unsubscribes. People aren't happy about that. So making sure you can apply that at the email level just for peace of mind too. Once you're happy with that email, being able to see that preview, so seeing what it will render like on those different screens, different devices in here, and even adding from a particular contact record or particular customer, what they might see based on their information from a personalization. Once that email, you're happy with that, you've checked it, ready to send, and then that's now ready to use in those journeys that we looked at earlier. And they can be done as one-off sends, or even scheduling for now. It doesn't have to be a journey, a complicated journey. It can be nice and simple too. I guess this kind of comes back to that closed loop piece that I was saying around, you've got your customer, you've got access to all this different data. That should be kind of coming together for that customer profile to kind of achieve that 360 view. So you've got all these different touch points, so leverage them, bring them together and make smart decisions based on that information they're giving to you, and also how you're reacting to it and how they're interacting with it as well. That can be brought together through, I guess, the customer insights platform, marketing platform.
Great, thanks, Hannah. That was great. So we've run through the 2 user stories that we're just going to pause and see if we've got any questions now, or comments, requests.
Hey, Tanya, it's Simon. I do have one question. It's always the most challenging question when it comes to Microsoft, and that's about licensing. So customer insights, we're not using it at the moment, but we are looking at it probably in the next 12 months or so. Excuse me, sorry. We currently run the sales enterprise licensing. So we're obviously using the sales component, but I assume this is a separately licensed module, customer insights. And from what I can tell from Microsoft, it sounds like there's sort of under the license, like an inclusion of a certain level of usage in terms of how many contacts or interacted people or I suppose data points you can interact with before you then need to purchase additional capacity per month. Is that correct?
Yes. To answer that one.
Up to you. Yeah.
No, you're correct, Simon. So the Insights Journeys, which is the marketing piece that I said had a rename, and Customer Insights, it's licensed by tenant. So included in that license, you get 10,000 active contacts, and then there's an allowance, or like a breach, or what's the right word? There's an allocation of 10 times the amount of contacts you have in interactions for that tenant. And then for the Customer Insights piece, you get 100,000 unified profiles included before you have to buy more content packs.
Thanks. And do those content packs sort of bill automatically if you go over your allowance? How does that work? Would you have to pre-arrange it? Because obviously you don't really always know month on month, what kind of interactions you're planning. And obviously there's going to be some times a year where it could exceed a lot more than other times. Does this just bill automatically to the tenant?
No, and I don't know if Hannah might be able to answer that. I'm not sure if it's actually governed. I don't think it stops you sending a can like an email out if you've reached your quota as such. But you do have the opportunity once a year to tidy that up and true down and get rid of some of those profiles and contacts. So you can have a bit of a tidy up, but it won't. It grows on like a growth. You go, Hannah.
That's okay. I was just going to say, especially if you're not sure, then maybe first do an assessment internally for how many emails you're sending out and just understand it from a baseline of how you're, because you might have an idea, but actually once you dig into it, it's like, oh, we actually only send out X amount of emails a month. And also how you're looking to scale up, what that strategy might be for that digital reach going forward. And then you can kind of base what you need off that rather than just guessing, I guess, straight away. And if you're using your sales enterprise license, I don't know how many, but you can get the attach, which is a discounted for the separate application of customer insights. And I've added the link into the chat too, I guess, just for reference, if you wanted to take a look in there too.
Oh, thanks, Hannah. So that's what the attach is it? It's the license that you can add to your existing license, so long as you've got one of them, which we do obviously, which is Sales Enterprise. That's what attach means. It's like a discounted version of that. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Simon. Are there any other questions? Got a few minutes remaining. Okay, well, thank you all for your time. I know we're all very busy, so we appreciate you jumping on the call today. We just want to close off with an offer of a free consultation. There's a QR code on screen if you'd like to grab that one. I'll leave it up for a few minutes. We here at Barhead, we're happy to have a chat with you about your specific business case, any technical challenges you might have, some advice that you might need around your digital transformation. We're even happy to walk you through a product demonstration of the applications within the Dynamics suite. So again, thank you all for joining us, and we will be doing another webinar in a few weeks' time. So an email will go out shortly with a few more details on that for those of you who are interested. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, bye.
See you. Bye-bye.